Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is, how does blackmail work? And I assure you, it does. So we're going to talk about blackmail today because, sad to say, it is used a lot in our society. First of all, this comes to us from HellTurnRadioShow.com. It says, assistant to U.S. House Sergeant at Arms. In other words, this is supposed to be the police officer of the U.S. House. Sergeant at Arms arrested on child porn charges. It goes on to say, and by the way, the definition of blackmail, now this is my definition because if you go to the internet, you can't find anything close to it, but it is basically forcing actions against the natural will by threat. In other words, we're forcing someone to do it by some kind of a threat. It says an assistant to the House of Representatives Sergeant at Arms was arrested on child pornography charges. It went on to say, with some 10 felony counts of possession of child pornography, an illicit image being uploaded to the Dropbox account, that's how they found him, and it contained images of child sex abuse. Now, how's that blackmail? Well, he goes on to say, and I agree with him, that it seems like people that are dirty in some way seem to get put in positions of power. Why? Because the Moloch of the Baal worshippers, in my opinion, did not start some of the alphabet agencies, I dare not say their name, because they wanted to catch the bad guys. But instead, they started police agencies so they could be in control of them, so that they would make certain that they didn't come after the Moloch and Baal worshippers. Hal Turner goes on to say, this right here is how the rest of the politicians in the House get away, in other words, blackmail, get away with the things many of them do. They appoint a child pedo to the law enforcement position inside the House of Representatives. They can hold that over his head, that's blackmail, if he catches them doing something wrong, so that way nobody gets caught. That's blackmail. This is the scam in the U.S. political system, and it's more than just the political system. It's in banking, sad to say, in churches, probably every place. The only people who seem to get in there are people with serious skeletons in the closet. In other words, people that can be blackmailed. Serious skeletons in the closet that can be held over their heads to get them to do what a non-elected person wants done, or the person that is controlling them or blackmailing them. This is how and why the House of Representatives seems to no longer represent the people elected them. I heard it said, now I can't prove this, but it sounds right. I've heard it said that when a Democrat gets elected to office, they first of all get a great big pile of money, and they get instructions, say, if you'll do what we want you to do, then you'll continue to get money, you'll continue to get blessed, and you can pretty much do whatever you want to do, and we're going to see that you can get away with it. Because how many times have we seen Democrats, or Republicans too for that matter, do some really bad things, but you can't seem to hold them down to it? And yet the Republicans, the good guys, if there's even a bad smell in the room, they're attacking them. They're trying to arrest them. They're trying to impeach them. And that's the way the devil works. But let's go on. There's more. I saw this movie a number of years ago when it came out. It's called The Firm, starring Tom Cruise. And it has a very good example of blackmail in it. Okay, so the story goes on that they paid this girl to go down and to basically make herself available to Tom Cruise on the beach. And they were filming it. I think they paid the girl $100 to see if they could get him into this compromising position. And later in the movie, it actually says, this is part of the script, Abby, the girl on the beach, was a setup. They do things like that in case the other enticements don't work. In other words, in case the other blackmail or the bribes, see, because that's what they operate on, blackmail or bribe. Blackmail or bribe. If you do what we want you to do, you get the carrot. You get the bribe. If you don't do what we want you to do, then you get the stick. And when they came to him, this is a picture of the movie where Wilford Brimley is coming to Tom and saying, we've got these pictures. Pictures of what? Pictures of him on the beach with this girl. Now, he says, if you do what we want you to do, then no worry. these pictures are never going to come out. No one's ever going to see them. But if you're ever called upon, you're going to have to vote our way, do what we want. In other words, they're controlling him. And if you don't, well, maybe these pictures are going to find their way into your wife's hands. That's blackmail. Then here's another, later on in the movie, another associate hitting on his wife, but his wife did the right thing. And if you don't want to be blackmailed, if you don't want the devil coming after you, there's a simple rule. Say no to the bad things. It's not exactly that easy because the devil is alive and well on the earth, and he is quite good at deceiving and destroying people's lives. Been doing it for some 6,000 years now. So it's what you call the carrot and stick philosophy. And that is that the donkey is trying to reach the carrot. That gets him to move forward. And that works as long as the carrot is close enough and sweet enough, and the donkey gets to taste the carrot every once in a while. But what they don't show you is on the other end of it is a stick. And that is, if you go after the carrot, you do what we want you to do, then you get the bribe. Then you get the pile of money. But if you don't, then we may have to pull out the skeletons out of the closet. We may have to show those pictures to the wife or some other blackmail technique. That's what they use. And sad to say, it's used often in America. Here's an article where it says, the head of the Bank of International Settlements, often called the central bank for central banks, declares he wants, quote, complete control. Guess what he's going to use? Blackmail. Complete control over money via banning cash in favor of central bank digital currencies, an openly stated, quote, very important goal. And it goes on to let him talk about it. Now, here's what Hal Turner says about the same incident. Headline, Bank of International Settlements on Digital Currency says, we will have total control on who spends money and on what they spend it on. The spokesman says through rules they establish, they can enforce, now look at this, talk about Mark of the Beast, who can spend money and what they can spend it on. That's blackmail. They can limit how much you spend on electric. They can prevent you from paying, or maybe even both. The description control freaks barely comes close to describing intrusive features these bankers intend for our lives. Blackmail. Here's another article talking about it. And I've never heard of this one before, but I'll read it anyway. U.S. Treasury Deputy Secretary warns unvaxxed Americans that shortages will continue until everyone is jabbed. That's blackmail, okay? The Deputy Secretary of the U.S. Treasury has put Americans on notice that the only way to end the plague of empty shelves around the country is for every resident to get the anti-V. We've got to say it that way. The frank warning came off as a threat to many. That's blackmail. If you don't get the V, or I should say, if you don't get the anti-V, then you're not going to be able to get anything off the shelves. You won't be able to eat. You're going to lose your job. You're going to not be able to fly on an airplane. And in my case, I went to a doctor. I got all of the approvals through all of the insurance companies. Now get this. The doctor then refused to do the procedure because I refused to get the vaccine and I refused to get a COVID test. Okay, so again, that's blackmail that's trying to control us. It goes on to say, in the Treasury Department appeared publicly blackmail. In the article, they actually mentioned blackmail. The still sizable portion of Americans who have not got the anti-V during this interview, blaming them for the ongoing shortages of consumer goods. So there's another article talking about how we are being blackmailed. If you want to have the life the way you want to have it, you want to keep your job, you want to get on an airplane, if you want to go to the doctor, if you want to go into Walmart, then you got to have the mask. That's blackmail. Or you got to have the anti-V. That's blackmail. It goes on to say the supply chain issues plaguing so many U.S. retailers are an international issue, look carefully, that will only let up when a sufficient percentage of the country has the anti-V. That's blackmail. So, my next question is, do you think there are slaves in America today? Do you think that slavery is existing in America today. Oh, no, no, no. We don't put up with slavery in America anymore. Wait a minute. We do too. Here's an article, and it actually shows you, and this is actually, if you go to the website, it's a live, active article. You can click on any one of these, and it tells you all about, it says, a global display of human trafficking incidents and a free public service of globalincidentmap.com. This is a list, a partial list, a very, very small part of a very large list of people that have been arrested. Now, you recall Revelation 18:13 says, cinnamon odors, ointments, frankincense, wine oil, fine flour, wheat, beef, sheep, horses, chariots, and slaves and sold to men. I was talking about America. So, nearing the time of America's fall, there would be slavery in America. And in this case, if you look at the highlighted area, it says here 2 women arrested for prostitution. Skip on down, sting operation, 19 arrests by the Mobile Police Department. I've got more. Here's an article, August 27th, AP News. That's reputable. Cabal owned, of course. 12-state human trafficking operation nets rescues 47 victims. 47 people that were really slaves. It says 102 arrests and rescued 47 victims of part of a 12-state effort to combat human trafficking. Human trafficking, that's slavery. Undercover law enforcement officers from federal, state, and local agencies arranged meetings with potential victims or pose as victims to identify buyers or traffickers. 2 of the 47 victims were minors, rescued in Kentucky, which had the most arrests of 46, and 21 victims rescued, and there's more. This comes to us, headline says, state officials announced 46 arrested, 21 victims rescued in Kentucky. Human trafficking sting. Well, once again, that's slavery. Here's another article. It says it's a fight Kentucky has been working on for well over a decade. 46 people arrested, 21 victims, all the same article, all talking about the same event. However, here's another one. 1,000 arrests in Wichita and the surrounding area, 1,072 arrests, 808 felony, 264 misdemeanors, 141 gang members, 221 firearms seized. America, home of the brave, land of the free. Now, you may be saying, well, what does this have to do with the topic of bribery? Actually, a lot of the reason this happens is because of bribery and blackmail. Ohio takes down largest child trafficking ring in history. We are coming after you, they say. In this case, 161 arrests, 10 children rescued. Huge operation. And most of those arrests were caught trying to rape, sex trafficked children. That's why, what was it, some 30,000 children disappear in America every year? Or some unbelievable number. Largest human trafficking bust in Ohio's history, and it goes on to say, among those arrested were a Democrat politician. Surely not. Democrat politician and several wealthy elites. Report, government secretly ordering, I can't say that word, to turn over data of people who search certain words. See, right now I can't speak freely. If I say wrong words, there are consequences. That's blackmail, isn't it? U.S. government has secretly ordered to turn over data of people who type in certain search terms. It goes on to say, accidentally unsealed, then released these sealed indictments. It says that part of the words that they were looking for, which I agree with in this case, bomb making, low explosive, pipe bomb, anybody that puts in some kind of search word like that, they're checked out. And I agree with that part. Anyone who searched for the name of a fraud victim in the entire city was... So, it can be used for good. And of course, they're talking about times where it's good. But also, we understand it may turn for bad because why? They want to be able to find anybody that is not wearing a mask. That's where it is right now. And then they want to be able to find anybody that doesn't have the anti-V. And where they're headed, because they want to find anybody that doesn't take the mark. See, it's heading in that direction. Now, we understand where it's going. I was sent this article. By the way, if you have interesting information, send it to me at askstan at, the rest, okay? Prophecy Club. I can't say the whole thing or I get all kinds of garbage in my email. But anyway, very good article, and I'm going to read through this article. September 27th, 2021, 1901, plan in 2021. And it comes to us from classiccapital.com. It says, finally foiled. Now, I had to blur that word out because that's one of those words I can't say. I'll say it this way. Finally foiled, DJT to be reinstated. The little book, Anticipations, published in 1901. By the way, I went and actually downloaded that book in a PDF, and in my spare time, I'm going to try to read it because it sounds like a very important book. Anticipations, published in 1901, made the British author H.G. Wells. Remember, that's the guy that wrote the book about a time machine. Now, was that just fiction? Or did they really have a time machine? Or were they working on one back then? I believe they have a time machine, and they may have had one as early as 1901. Again, it's not just human technology. They're getting it from the aliens. Remember, that's why they built the Tower of Babel, so that they could communicate with the heavens. Okay, in other words, with the demons, so they could get high technology. So probably they had time machines all the way back in 1901. Anyway, this H.G. Wells, internationally important man of ideas and connections, rather than merely a fiction writer, Wells was invited to European palaces and to President Theodore's White House as an honored guest at a reception of dignitaries. Margaret Sanger, later to become founder of the Planned Parenthood, attended the reception on Wells' arm as they commenced a long, intimate relationship at odds with Wells' wife and children in England. Now, who are they? These are part of your Moloch and Baal worshippers that believe in human sacrifice, killing, eating, drinking blood. I know, I understand. For us Christians, it's hard to wrap our head around the fact that there might be people on the earth that really believe in killing people, eating humans, drinking. I understand. Frankly, it's hard for me to say it. But when that's exactly what was happening, when Moses came down off the mountain with the 10 Commandments, he saw them worshiping Baal. That's the golden calf. And he commanded all 3,000 of them to be killed. So we're talking about the most wicked religion on earth that unfortunately controls the world, because they made a deal with the devil. Give us control, give us money and power, we'll worship you and we will do what you want. And guess what Lucifer tells them to do? Kill God's anointed, kill God's people, just like Psalm chapter 2 says. Let's go on, though. Attended the reception of Wells' arms, they commenced a long, intimate relationship at odds with Wells' wife and children in England. That same little book provides a big window of insights into motives behind America's, can't say that word, and election experiences of 2020 and 2021. Anticipations explain that a few powerful families, Moloch and Baal worshippers, a few powerful families believe in themselves to entitled to rule the world. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about Moloch and Baal worshippers. He just doesn't call them those. Sometimes called the 13 families or the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati or the globalist cabal. Now that word cabal, that means of Baal, as in B-A-A-L. So cabal is another way, it's a short way of saying Moloch and Baal worshippers. The globalist cabal fully intended to destroy completely the new middle class. That's us. Specifically and primarily Christians. That's who they're really after. Christians, and I might also add Jews. The cabal declared the intention and the goal to learn by the year 2000 how to poison, listen to this, millions of people of the abyss. That's what they call us, people of the abyss. We're really people of heaven, but again, they call evil good, good evil, black for white, white for black, and that sort of stuff. People of the abyss, so the only survivors on the earth would be the ruling families and their chosen servants. They want to kill anything good and of God, especially Christ. Learning how to poison hundreds of millions, even billions of people, partly involves formulating suitably powerful poisons. Many poisons deadly to humans were already known back in 1901, and more could be found or formulated. The greater challenge foreseen may have been devising schemes to get fatal dosages ingested or injected into target populations capable of evading in escaping or retaliating. Now, what's that saying? It's saying, how can we kill? This is what they were saying. How can we kill millions and perhaps even billions of people? We've got to have something that'll kill them, some kind of poison or something. That's what they had in 1901. But then the next problem is, okay, so how do you get people to take the poison? Oh, how many times have you seen this on TV? I don't have one, but you know what I'm talking about, right? I can't say it. I can't say it because we don't have freedom in America anymore. We don't have free speech. It's gone, okay? So what they're saying is, how can we come up with a way to kill a lot of people? The anti-V. Let's go on. Now it talks about the Federal Reserve Bank. Additional elements of the 1901 plan included establishing a cabal, that's Moloch and Baal worshippers, establishing a cabal-owned central bank in each nation to create currency, used in economic activity, and also a tax on earned income, enforced at higher rates against persons with higher income. What are they saying right now? They're saying that everybody, all these rich people, need to pay their fair share. That's graduated income tax. That's communistic, or really, it's the Moloch and Baal worshippers trying to take all the money from the earners and give it to them. Both objectives were achieved in America in 1913 during the first year of the presidency of Woodrow Wilson, former president of Princeton University. To this day, many Americans who consider themselves well-informed erroneously believe that the Federal Reserve, by the way, it's neither federal nor does it have reserves, the Federal Reserve and its network of regional banks to be public agencies of the federal government. Wrong. In fact, the Federal Reserve and each federal regional Fed, including the dominant Federal Reserve Bank of New York, are privately owned by, I'll say, the Moloch and Baal worshippers. You want to know who they are? Bingo. That's who they are. With the Paysur, I'm going to say the rest of those words there, the other families, you can read it, believed to be preeminent in influence. During 2020, media reports indicated that the Fed was absorbed into the U.S. Department of Treasury in order to forestall collapse of the Fed's fiat currency, although no official confirmation of this is available. Well, I read articles, and what I really believe is happening is that's all part of taking down the SWIFT system of the cabal and replacing it with a quantum financial system that I want to believe is going to be good at least for a few years until the devil turns it bad to the mark of the beast system. Wars, assassinations, financial and medical terrorism. A representative list of more recent world events rooted in aspirations of the globalist cabal: World War I, the Bolshevik invasion, the communization of Russia, the influenza of 1918. By the way, I did some research. You know who was behind the influenza or the Spanish flu or the great, I think they call it, the Spanish flu of 1918? Look it up. His name is Gates. Would you believe it's the grandfather of Bill Gates? That's what the article said. Anyway, the influence of 1918, the crash of 1929, the Great Depression, World War II, the rise of the power of Mao Zedong, communism in China, Korean War, the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, Vietnam War, the attempted assassination of President. This is the Moloch and Baal. These are the people behind. This is what they do. They kill, steal, and destroy. This is all they do. They are the most evil on earth. World Trade Center destruction, asset heist. By the way, that was really stealing a bunch of gold, but another topic, another day. The missile attack on the Pentagon, the Patriot Act, imposition of police state surveillance, plus the wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Syria, and superstitious Obama coup against the elected Ukrainian government. Should we not also mention the tech crash of 2002 and the financial terrorism 2008 perpetrated with complicity of the Fed, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Secretary, and okay, you're getting the point. If it's evil going on, these are the guys behind it. Now, I can't say that word, but you know what it's saying. Is by no means the only example of a broadside attack against the globalist cabal, against the human population of America and the world. The Spanish flu of World War I was a very deadly campaign Polio vaccine has been reported as a spread of soft tissue cancer, Africa, India, and other labs. Meaning, bad things done by the Moloch of all worshipers, the worst people. I did a whole program on them. You should go back and listen to it. We're getting to the point here. Not the least of the evil intentions presently pending is the hidden, largely unreported campaign of federal officials to require, by the way, I've got this confirmed, this is true. Yes, we did get some emails from people saying that's not true. I'm a farmer. They have not required. Well, no, not to all of them. But we've got other emails from people saying absolutely positively that is exactly what they're requiring me to do. American farmers to destroy their crops rather than harvest them for sale to consumers. This appears to be genocidal action with deadly intent, if proven by admissible evidence, will require criminal trials with capital penalties for the responsible offenders. All prologue is what is coming. Never mind that the coming may be later than hoped. By the grace of God and his intercession on behalf of right and good men, women and children, we now have responsible and substantial expectation of delivery from deadly evil intentions, which have loomed especially since January 18th, 2021. La Palma, strange developments with volcano and DARPA. There's been a new fracture in the face of the volcano. They're expecting it to blow out. Today is the day that DARPA would cause the volcano flank to collapse and generate a massive tsunami to devastate the U.S. East Coast. Now, more and more I've got a couple of dreams talking about specifically the Canary Islands now, causing an East Coast tsunami, East Coast to devastate the East Coast. I wish I had another one, and I wish I had more credibility from each of the people that I have, but it's something to watch. So last Monday, Sean, my son in Topeka that runs the Topeka Prophecy Club, called me and said, Dad, it rained this past weekend. We're now up to 6 buckets. That water is dripping through our roof. We really need to get a new roof. This is where we had an estimate, $16,520. And I've asked people if you can help. If God has blessed you and you can help with that, now would be a really good time. Thank you. Yes, we have got some help. We still aren't up to the total that we need. Then, this past week, they were supposed to be putting in a sign. They haven't put it in at church yet. As you can see, the balance on that is $6,000. So if God has blessed you, you can help us. Now would be a really good time. This is what our church looks like. It's a church in a strip mall. We've been there 17 years. However, this sign here does not exist. There's just nothing but red brick there. And this is our only sign, and this is our only sign. I've heard many people say they couldn't find it. Then this is the sign on the side, because right over here is the Whataburger. This is where they pull in to place a Whataburger. We want to put a sign right here. We believe that this will bring in a lot more people to the church and consequently some more souls won. So all of this is about soul winning. So if you can help us with the $16,520 for a new roof or the $6,000 for sign, now would be a wonderful, wonderful time for you to do it. As a matter of fact, if you'd like to donate, you can scan down in the bottom right corner, and that will take you right to an area where you can donate. Click like, share, subscribe, and send to a friend. These days, emergency food is mostly sold out, but HeavensHarvest.com has all sorts of emergency supplies and food in stock. Their food comes in square stackable buckets, breakfast, entree, protein, fruits and vegetables. I recommend you have at least 12 months of food for each person in your family. Receive a free box of heirloom seeds when you enter the promo code STAN at HeavensHarvest.com. Promo code STAN. Jack Clooney is a ranking authority on Satanism, witchcraft, white supremacy, and other forms of cult and occult activity. Don Marquis was raised in an Illuminati family. Discover the real truth behind the popular holidays of Christmas, Easter, Halloween, and more in America's occult holidays. Stephen Dollins, an ex-Satanist high priest, exposes the subtle devices used to infiltrate the homes of Christians to introduce witchcraft and Satanism. What is the hidden agenda behind Halloween in Occult Holidays revealed? Then Bill Sneblin, he used to be a vampire and explained vampires and werewolves and the fact that they are real, he says. It is wrong and needs to be exposed in Vampires and Werewolves, Real or Fake. All of these available at prophecyclub.com. And these are available for a gift of $90, or for the month of October, you can watch them by signing up at watchprophecyclub.com. Watchprophecyclub.com. It's $20 a month or $200 a year. You get to watch over 250 different Prophecy Club DVDs. If you haven't checked it out, I believe you're making a mistake. You should go and watch. You'll be shocked to see how much is available for just $20 a month. Terry Saka is a prophecy student, and he reads his King James Bible, and he believes in winning souls so much he is supporting the Prophecy Club so that we can win more souls. So if you want to support someone that loves prophecy and wants to win souls, I'm going to send you to cornerstoneassetmetals.com, where you can get all sorts of precious metals, gold, silver, rhodium, palladium, and things like that. cornerstoneassetmetals.com.